Well, folks, not only do we continue to witness the disturbing takeover of the federal government by unelected MAGA billionaire and shadow president Elon Musk, but believe it or not, it just got even more disturbingly personal for the American people. Because Musk has officially bullied his way into the Social Security Administration after the Treasury. Now it's the Social Security Administration, and it's so bad that the acting commissioner of the Social Security Administration resigned after she tried and failed to keep Musk out of this most sensitive personal data. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we got a lot to talk about. Again, Musk's takeover seems to be ever near completion. He just continues and continues to try to hoard as much personal data and government power into himself. As the New York Times and the Washington Post and others report, top Social Security official leaves after Musk team seeks data access. The departure of the acting commissioner is the latest backlash to the Department of Government Efficiency's efforts to access sensitive data. The top official at the Social Security Administration stepped down this weekend after members of Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency sought access to sensitive personal data about millions of Americans held by the agency, according to people familiar with the matter. The resignation of Michelle King, the acting commissioner, is the latest abrupt departure of a senior federal official who refused to provide Musk's lieutenants with access to closely held data. Musk's team has been seen embedding with agencies across the federal government and seeking access to private data as part of what it said is an effort to root out fraud and waste. And we'll return to that. As a matter of fact, I want you to see this clip from Caroline Leavitt, Donald Trump's disturbingly dishonest press secretary, on Fox News as she tries to make the case for why Musk has bullied Donald Trump into accessing the Social Security Administration and the scale of fraud she claims they suspect exists.
He is now delivering on it, and I've been fighting fake news reporters all day long here in the Washington, D.C. swamp who are trying to fearmonger the American people into believing that this administration is going after their hard-earned tax dollars and their hard-earned Social Security checks. So I want to set the record straight on your show tonight, Sean, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do so. President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the DOGE team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. They haven't dug into the books yet, but they suspect that there are tens of millions of deceased people who are receiving fraudulent Social Security payments.
Now, on its face, that's a really dumb claim to make. If you suspect that, you're probably really, really dumb. And certainly if you have no evidence to corroborate such an extraordinary claim, I haven't been there, but I suspect that unicorns are dancing on the rings of Saturn. Is it possible? I guess. But with something so facially unlikely, you should probably have ample evidence before you go prying into people's information, their most sensitive data. This is just ass backwards and incredibly stupid, and probably why the acting Social Security Administration administrator, the commissioner, tried to block Elon Musk from getting in. Like, bro, you need actually not only the authority, but a really damn good reason and predicate for you and your gaggle of college freshmen to access this information. We'll come back to that claim that Carolyn Leavitt talked. Actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and address it now. Okay. That's fresh on the mind. We got a lot to look at. As journalists have been pointing out, there are maybe hundreds of deceased people, not hundreds of millions or tens of millions, hundreds of deceased people receiving fraudulent benefits, not tens of millions. There are about 70 million people total receiving Social Security. Does anyone really think 1/3 of them are dead? Question mark. As Trump folks repeat Elon Musk's BS claims that tens of millions of dead people are getting Social Security, here's the 2023 Inspector General report on the SSA's death records with facts. Yes, there are over 6 million dead people in the database, but they are not paid. The false claim matters for two reasons. Musk and Trump may use these lies to justify cutting Social Security. Second, they may take credit for work already underway. We found dead people. It's not a discovery. It's routine government stuff. Number holders age 100 or over who did not have death information on the Numanet The report is only 19 pages, and Elon seems to have read none of them. This kind of reporting is why the U.S. has an inspector general for all agencies to look at data, to find mistakes, or even fraud. Trump just fired 15 of those inspectors general. Agency officials noted that as of March 2023, SSA had issued approximately 531 million unique Social Security numbers, and the 18.9 million records represent approximately 3.6 of all numinent records. Officials also noted that almost none of the 18.9 million number holders currently receive SSA benefits. Follow Justin Wolfers from the University of Michigan for actual fact-based takes on the situation. Just 89,000 recipients of Social Security over 99 in a country of 330 million, which is about the number you would expect that. We have that many old people. It is not fraud. Justin Wolfers, an economist, said, and here's the recipients, the number of recipients of Social Security in each age bucket with the death field set to false and the recipients set to true. A mere 89,106 are age 99 plus, not the tens of millions suggested by Elon Musk. This is absurd, corrosive nonsense. There are not tens of millions of dead people getting Social Security checks, and the only reason Levitt is out here making these hysterical claims is because Elon Musk misunderstood a table of numbers. Social Security checks go to 5 groups of people: retired workers, their dependents, survivors of retired workers who have died, disabled workers, and their dependents. We know how many people in each of these groups get checks. The biggest group, obviously, is retired workers. This is what we think of as classic Social Security. In December 2024, 51.8 million American workers aged 62 or over got Social Security retirement benefits. That's out of a population of more than 60 million Americans who are 62 and over. Let's see, 2.6 million dependents of retired workers also collect small Social Security benefits, and 5.8 million survivors, widows and widowers, children, and dependent parents, get them. And then, via a separate program also administered by the Social Security Administration, 7.2 million disabled workers and 1.1 million of their dependents received Social Security benefits. Total number of Americans who receive some Social Security benefit today is about 68.5 million. To believe that tens of millions of those benefits are going to dead people, you'd have to believe that 15 to 30% of all Social Security checks are fraudulent. More than that, you'd have to ignore math. As I said, there are 60 plus million Americans age 62 and over. Only 51.8 million of them are collecting retired worker benefits. If Social Security is paying tens of millions of dead people, why is the number of old people getting Social Security benefits smaller than the number of old people, period? The answer is that there are not tens of millions of dead people collecting Social Security benefits. There are not millions or hundreds of thousands. There are probably a few, given our weird system where the federal government handles Social Security, but the states handle death certificates. But there is no systemic problem of dead people getting Social Security checks. That problem exists only in Elon Musk's mind. The problem is, what exists in Elon Musk's mind very rarely stays in his mind. It leaves his mouth. That mouth hole, which gets him and everybody else in a shit ton of trouble because he is disturbingly influential. He's the richest man in the world, probably the most powerful man in the world, given that he has his hand up Trump's ass, and Trump is the de jure president of the United States. And then we run into situations like this, where people like Carolyn Levitt, who have above room temperature IQ, she's not stupid, right? She's incredibly dishonest, but very cunning. She then has to go proselytize this to the world via the world's most dishonest and popular right-wing legacy media network, Fox News. Again, just an absolutely absurd proposition every which way. But MAGA lives in a completely different... They live in a hermetically sealed bubble, as friend of the show and progressive streamer progressive content creator Brian Tyler Cohen points out. And so now, people are just running with this idea. Oh my God. It's not thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. It's not just millions, tens of millions. It's multiple tens of millions. What? Who are getting Social Security benefits when dead? Fraudulently? It's insane. It's insane. This is where we are. Sahil Kapoor, I think from NBC. Yes, damn, I'm good. NBC, as he pointed out, and again, it's funny because it's just like, it's right there. It's documented. Could they just look at it? Just look at the documents? Whatever. Inspector General audit from 2015 to 2022, Social Security sent out $71.8 billion in improper payments, most of which were overpayments out of $8.6 trillion in benefits, an error rate of 0.84%. That is shockingly efficient. I know the number, the raw number, over 7 years, billions of dollars. Like, oh my God, that is just extraordinary waste. No. When you consider the amount of money, $6 trillion, that's an incredibly efficient system, all things considered. It's incredible. And nothing which corroborates the claim that tens of millions are fraudulently accepting benefits or fraudulently receiving benefits or improper payments. And again, as people point out, typically, if you're overpaid on your Social Security benefits, it's caught, and then the next check is reflected to compensate the overpayment from the previous check. But here you have Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and their spokespeople regurgitating this conspiracy theory that anywhere from 15 to 30% of the recipients of Social Security are not only ineligible, they're dead. No evidence to support it whatsoever. And in response to this, they have given Musk access to your Social Security information, in addition to already giving them unfettered access to your Treasury information, to your banking information. They're just collecting this data without actually any justification or justifying predicate. And that's why the acting commissioner tried to stop them and was ultimately pushed into resigning. Because at the end of the day, she was overruled. This is where we are. Musk continues his takeover of the federal government, bullying the Trump administration into giving him pretty much anything he wants, and absolutely no reason for it. And then when they try to justify a reason, try to provide a reason, it's bullshit. Like, bro, there's we don't have access to the books, but we believe 70 kabillion people are dead and getting Social Security benefits. Stupid. And we're only 4 weeks in, 1 month in, is where we are. So, in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.